The simple way of defining music is that music is an organized sound, and unorganized sound is noise. It is good for us to know what sound is all about. What is sound? Then, sound is anything that the ear has the ability to receive or hear, caused by vibrations. Sound is the vibration of air particles which travels to your ears from the vibration of objects making the sound. These vibrations of sound in the air are called sound waves. When a door is slammed, the door vibrates, sending sound waves through the air. Sound is also the form of energy that is produced when things vibrate. Then what is musical sound? Musical sound can be defined according to Britannica as any tone with characteristics such as controlled pitch and timbre. The sounds are produced by instruments in which the periodic vibrations can be controlled by the performer. Other sources may have it as sound is something you can hear. In music, sound is the effect that is produced by the music of a particular singer or musicians. Certain words we need to understand. Number one is tone. What is tone? Tone, it is a pitch or a sound, a word called tonic. It is the first note of music scale. Then what is note? This can be defined as a sign or an alphabet that represents a sound in music. What is interval? This is the relationship in distance or a space between musical notes to another note. Octave. An octave in music is a group of notes in an interval. In its chromatic scale, it has 12 notes, and in its diatonic scale, it has 7 notes, but 8 notes when you include the upper tonic, which is the do. Next thing we are going to discuss is what is music notation. Music notation or musical notation is any system used to visually represent orally perceived music played with instruments or sung by the human voice through the use of written, printed, or otherwise produced symbols, including notation for durations of absence of sound such as rest. So what is notation? Simple way of defining this: music notations are the symbols used in written music. Music notation or music notes lets players know which note to be played and how long to play it for. It is also essential if you want to remember your music or have other musicians play it. What is then notation? Notation is an art or a method of representing a sound of music with signs, symbols, or alphabets. We have many sounds or tones in music. All are being represented with symbols, signs, alphabets for easy recognition. We have importance of notation. I'll list here but a few. It helps in representing sounds for singing. It helps in preserving sounds of music for documentation purposes. It helps in creating better sounds, and it helps in composition of music. It helps people to recognize and interpret songs in music even those songs written by other composers. It develops the brain and other parts of the body for music memory. It helps in developing the ear for musical sense. It helps instrumentalists to learn and know what to play. Notation governs everything about music. It helps in voice training. Notation is the stone for music builders. There are two major types of notation in music: SOLFA notation and staff notation. I would not like to talk more about staff notation in this paper, maybe in future. But in a nutshell, staff notation is the representation of musical sounds on a series of horizontal lines, using signs and symbols to indicate the relationship between them. This tutorial is based on SOLFA notation. We will not dwell more in theory. SOLFA notation is the representation of musical sounds on any form of documentary with some alphabets, using signs and symbols to indicate the relationship between them. These alphabets differ from one language to another, but they also have something in common, which is the sound they represent. Knowing how to pronounce notes will help you. I would like and use the following pronunciation while practicing: do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do, even though they differ in pitches. So you see how it is being pronounced. Another one we'll learn later is the pitch, because they have different levels of sound, which is also known as pitch. For easy pronunciation, you look at them, how they are pronounced. Do is known as tonic, re is known as supertonic, mi is known as mediant, fa is known as subdominant, so is known as dominant, la is known as submediant or supermediant, ti is known as subtonic or leading note. Music SOLFA can be written in Roman numerals and in Arabic. The tonic is known as 1, the first note of a scale, which the scale is based upon, sometimes called root note. The supertonic, second scale degree, one step above the tonic. Mediant, third scale degree with a position halfway between the tonic and the dominant. Fourth, subdominant, fourth scale degree, a fifth below the tonic and next to the dominant. Dominant, fifth scale degree. Submediant, sixth scale degree and sometimes called supermediant. 7. Subtonic, 7th scale degree, which is also referred as leading note or leading tone because it musically leads back to the tonic. So we see how it is being written in a keyboard. This is an octave on one of the octave in a keyboard, the main middle octave. As you play the notes on a keyboard, try to sing and memorize the sound you hear. It is a way of developing your sense of music and music ear. Look at the diagram. You notice what we are saying, how they are being presented. In the above diagram, one can see that the black notes have two names and also share the same notation and pitch. Enharmonic notes or key. Notes with an identical pitch, names, and notations are called enharmonic notes. For example, the note C sharp is enharmonic with D flat, and the note D sharp is enharmonic with E flat. So talking of notation, we are now defining what they are called. We have a harmonic notes, the one that have the same pitch, names, and notations. We have another one called accidental notes. An accidental is a note of a pitch that is not a member of the scale or mode indicated by the most recently applied key signature. An accidental is a symbol in music notation that raises or lowers a natural note by one or two half steps. They are accidental notes because they flattens or sharpens a note. The five accidentals. There are five different signs of accidentals. Number one is sharp. A sharp raises a note by a half step. Instead of the original note, you should play the note that is a half step above or on the right of the piano next to it. Flat. A flat lowers a note by a half step. Instead of the original note, you should play the note that is a half step below on the left of the piano. Double sharp. A double sharp raises a note by two half steps. Double flat. A double flat lowers a note by two half steps. Instead of the original note, you should play the note that is two half steps below on the left hand side. A natural note. A natural note cancels the effect of another notes. So natural, it is pure. Nota bene. The position where the notes that flattens and the one that sharpens on a given key are on the same position. For example, in the scale of key C, C sharp sharpens the note of key C, and the same key, C sharp, flattens the note of key D. Look at the following table. To explain this chart, the note that you played as D is equal to Ra, etc. When you are ascending, playing the scale, notes are being written as D, Re, V, Z, Li. But when you are descending, playing the scale, notes are being written as Tau, Lao, Sol, or Ba, depending, Mao or Ra. You will notice from the above charts that the following are obtainable. Le has the same position with Tau. Z has the same position with Lao. V has the same position as Sao. Ba. Re has the same position of Ma as Mao. D has the same position with Ra. The important thing is for you to know that accidentals are notes that are found between notes in any given scale of any key. In SOLFA notation, this is Do, this is Re, this is Mi, this is Fa, Sol, La, Ti, and Do. So the next one is, this can be a tone, 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 this can be a tone. Also, we have the one being represented. Also, we have capital letters. So there are also 7. This can be a tone, 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 this can be a tone. In each solfa, like in A. In A, we'll explain that later. So in A, we have the re mi fa sol la ti do. In B, we have the descending. Also in A sharp and A flat, we still have everything. So each particular key has its own solfa notations, which is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. This can be a tone, this can be a tone. All of them are tones. Then when it comes to tonic, this is the tonic. This is the tonic. Another one is note. They are all notes, musical notes. So interval is from here to here is an interval. The gap between the relationship between here and here, the sounds, the level of sounds between here and here are called interval. So we have a sound in between here. We have this sound, we have this sound, we have a sound in between here. So the sound in between are called intervals. The level, the relationship between here and here, how they sound are called interval. So from do to re, the sound, the relationship between this sound and this sound is called interval. I hope you are understanding it. The relationship between do and re is called interval because in between do and re, we have sounds between them, but only we call it D or Ro. So we'll still explain it. So another one is octave. We'll explain that one later. This is a complete octave from do to T. And this one ending it is the beginning of another one, but we explain it later. So talking of the movement, here is do, here is re, mi, so mi and fa, just small thing. So you climb so, la, ti, and the highest do. So this is the movement of the notes, and this is the level of their pitch. If you are singing it, it moves up from down to up. We have lower octave, we have higher octave also. So that is the thing for now. Then in between here to here, there is a note. In between here and here, there is a note or sound. So in between here, there is no much because they are just they related. Mi and fa is just like brother and sister. Brother and sister, just and from fa you see the gap. You move. So from fa to so, you see the gap. From so to la, you see the gap. From la to ti, you see the gap. But from ti to do, you can see the little thing. So here is just a small gap. That is why they are like brothers and sisters. So the gap between here and here is much. So that is why there is a tone. There is a tone. And this tone here, in between here and here, they are called accidental notes. They are accidental because they didn't form the major tonic solfa. We are dealing with solfa notation. We are dealing with solfa notation. We are dealing with solfa notation. So in the diatonic scale, do to re, there is a note here, which can be called D or Ro. We'll still explain them when we get there. So in between these points, there are notes. These notes here are called accidental notes. We still explain them more. Okay. So when you talk of enharmonic, we'll bring a keyboard and show you. So this is key C. So this is key C. But we'll still explain them in details. So in between do of key C, this is do of key C, this is re of key C. So in between do and re, there is a note. So in between re and mi, there is a note. So these notes are called accidental, accidentals in key C. When you come to C sharp, they have their own accidentals. So don't be confused. It's not only the black notes are accidentals. In each key, we are not explaining about key now. In each key, there are accidentals. So when you come to this key, the do, re, mi, we have them. So they have their accidentals. Just using this to explain it. So in between do and re, there is an accidental. In between re and mi, there is an. So in between mi and fa, there is no accidental between them because the gap is small. Mi and fa is just. So in between fa and so, this is the so of key C. There is an accidental. So accidentals are in between a note. So when you come to SOLFA notation of diatonic scale, this is do. There is a note between do and re. We will talk about it more further when we deal with scales and other things. So from here to here is an octave. From here to here is an octave, the main octave. So later we'll talk about it. So this note here is an enharmonic note. So this note here can be called enharmonic because this note here is called from, you can mention its name from here or here. This is C, this is D. So it is enharmonic because it can answer two names from D or C. So you can call it C sharp. You can call it D flat. So it is enharmonic because it has two names. You can call it from here, you can call its name from here. So this is C, this is D. So because it is in between C, this is the sharpen because it sharpens. So D because it flattens D, C because it sharpens the one in front sharpens it, and D it flattens D also. So it has double function. But that double function does not mean it has two distinct. It has two names, and these two names are the same thing. These two names are the same thing. It is called C sharp because it sharpens C, flattens D, it has double function, and it has two names, but it's on its own, it stands on it. So this C sharp, this D has its own work to do also. So this is all enharmonic, but we are not treating that now. When we go further, we'll study them. It's just to practicalize what we have done